in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, entrepreneurs have to face a new reality that is not only to do with a health crisis affecting millions of people, but an unprecedented economic downturn. Now, how do entrepreneurs survive? That is an important conversation we want to have on a special edition of the masterclass on Joy FM. It is dubbed the Entrepreneurial Rebound, and I'm honored to have the host of the masterclass on tonight on Business Live, Yao Inimbanafo. Great to have you on the show tonight, Yao.
Great to be here, Daryl. Thank you.
Okay. So why are we having this conversation, the Entrepreneurial Rebound?
Right. So just very briefly, I mean, if you look at, in the month of March, I believe it was, the Minister of Finance presented a report on the impact of the pandemic on the economy globally and then on the economy of Ghana. Now, I'm just going to talk about GDP. We're looking at a proposed GDP of about 6.8%, but that is going to fall to a target of about 2.6% in 2020 because of the pandemic. Globally, we're looking at a GDP growth of about 3.3% for 2020. Again, we're looking at that slowing down to about 2.9%. The summary, therefore, is that businesses are challenged worldwide, and Ghana is no exception. Let's talk about burn rate. Essentially, burn rate is the ability of an institution or a company or a corporate to be able to continue to function without receiving the expected revenue continuously. Now, the burn rate for most companies in Ghana range from 1 to 3 months. It means, therefore, that if revenue is challenged, businesses are not going to be able to continue to function.
Okay.
The way we should. The reason we're doing this is with multimedia. We try to share thoughts. Yes. We try to share thoughts to help businesses in Ghana to be able to grow and to be able to find answers to the questions that they ask. And so on the 1st of July, we're having this Zoom, should I say, it's not an on-ground event, this is an online event. And essentially, it's going to be talking about the entrepreneurial rebound. How do businesses make their way out of the situation in which they find themselves now? And we're looking at a range of resource persons because we understand that the challenge we're faced with is a hydra-headed problem. So, for example, if you speak to 5 corporates today, they're discussing the possibility of looking at staff remuneration. It hasn't happened yet. Staff are worried. The conversation is, do you keep paying staff what you're paying them, seeing as money is not coming in? That conversation is going to be had. We'll have a resource person to talk about the human resource factor. Customer service, that's also affected, that's challenged. Tax, we're looking at a tax shortfall on import duties alone this year of about 808 million. Again, we're going to have some tax consultants there on the show to speak to us. And then innovation. I think that's the greatest thing now. You need to be able to innovate in these times to be able to survive. So it's a really exciting conversation. I encourage everyone to make a date with us. 1st of July. It starts exactly at 1 p.m. through to 2:30 p.m. and it will be on Zoom. It'll also be live on Facebook and on all of our channels so that all of our listeners and those who are interested should please tune in and by all means be a part of that conversation. We will get interactive, so we'll ask questions also.
I'll be tuned in, Yao. And what is of interest to me, really, you're tackling several areas, like you mentioned, areas to do with customer service, to do with technology, and how it can help entrepreneurs rebound, human resource, business development. And you've got a list of people you are bringing together to have this conversation. Run us through.
I have indeed. We'll be privileged on the show to have the board chair of the Institute of Customer Service across West Africa on the show, Yvonne Ohui-McCarthy. Yvonne is currently with us on the show. We'll also be privileged to have John Ama. John Ama is also a business consultant. He's been with us on the show before. We're privileged to have Samuel Kwame-Boafo, who is a private HR practitioner. He's also going to share some thoughts with us on the show. And then we're going to have Derry Dean. Derry was with us on the on-ground event about 2 years ago, Dream Oval. And then we'll also have Mr. William Demetia. He's a tax consultant. So he's going to help us understand the impact on the government purse. Because obviously, if the revenue is not coming in, how is government going to be able to foot all of its bills? Then we'll have Mr. Charles Mensah, who's a financial consultant, who is also going to share some thoughts. So it's a very rich mix of resource persons we're going to have on the day, and it promises to be exciting.
Rich resource people, I should say. Anybody watching wondering, why should I be a part of this conversation? What am I going to take out of it?
Right, because you see, the thing is this, we're talking about business and entrepreneurship, but it affects all of us in one way or the other. So that, for example, the customer is king today, and you are a customer. So if there's nothing that you do in all of this, your role is that you're a customer, and you will help Ghana to become better by pushing industry, pushing corporates, pushing companies to do things the right way. I mean, if there's a bit of time, there was one thing we shared on the show last week about customer service and brand awareness. Most corporates have brands, taglines. Great disconnect between the brand and the customer service person on the front line. He comes to work and these days you find, Daryl, that people are not smiling in the front line because they're wearing masks. Because they're wearing masks. Now, if somebody came to your office and you turn them away because you're not smiling, because you're not happy, they're not going to come back again, because today the customer is spoiled for choice.
That's exciting. I can't wait for the conversation on the 1st of July. That's on Joy 99.7 FM. That's where everyone can tune in at 1 o'clock. It's going to be an hour and a half conversation, 1 o'clock to 2:30. And I believe that they're going to be helped, because really there are so many entrepreneurs who are really struggling at this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much. Yao Inimbana is host of the masterclass. We'll keep talking till Wednesday when we bring you this special edition of the masterclass, the Entrepreneurial Rebound.